I'm Lallene Rector, and I love murder mysteries, especially English, Canadian, and Scandinavian mysteries. And I am privileged to serve at this time as the president of Garrett-Evangelical Theological Seminary. As I've reflected on this question about what does public ministry look like to me in this time of social distancing and quarantining and being isolated from each other, I am aware that the disparities that are before us all of the time have become quite heightened in our awareness. Things like unemployment benefits that are inadequate, the lack of sick leave for too many people, the healthcare disparities in our country, and the disproportionate death of African Americans suffering COVID-19. The work that immigrants are forced to do and that we benefit from, they serve us at great risk at this point, and yet they continue to be scapegoated. And then the dangers of the health dangers of people who are incarcerated and those helpless persons who are in nursing homes that get locked down with the COVID-19 virus ravaging the place and many deaths. We also have seen how quickly our environment can benefit from a change in the way we live. Blue skies over previously smog-filled cities now are a beautiful thing to behold. We haven't seen those blue skies in a long time. So there are a lot of ways in which this time focuses for us on the need for public ministry out there among a whole host of issues that continues even more starkly now, and we see it even more urgently. But part of the struggle is we can't be out there in the same ways. And so when I think about what other ways can we engage in public ministry that don't endanger us right now, I think that we can be advocates, we can write, we can teach, and we can communicate in a whole host of ways with each other about these matters. And then in my own personal life, I found myself thinking, what do I do? When do I get out there? When am I doing a public ministry kind of thing? And I thought, well, the only time I really get out now is to take a walk, and I'm polite, and I step aside and greet people from a distance. But when I go to the grocery store once every couple of weeks in the early hours, I am very intentional about thanking every worker I pass who is stocking something in the aisles, and thanking the cashier and the person who bags my groceries for the work that they're doing, the risk that they take on our behalf. And so in closing, I want to just call our attention to some verses in chapter 4 of Philippians, where Paul says to the church there at Philippi, "Let your gentleness show in your treatment of all people." I try to do that, not always consciously, but I try to be appreciative and to thank people, and I am especially doing that now when I visit the grocery store or any place, the pharmacy, where anyone checks me out. In my mind, it's a small act of public ministry. It's not explicitly done in the name of Jesus Christ, but nonetheless, I believe it is a witness to my faith, and I am prepared to give an accounting of the hope in me, should anyone ever ask me about that. So let me wish God's richest blessings upon you in these very challenging days, and encourage you to think about the small acts of public ministry that we have opportunity to engage in. Thank you.